there's a remake too. Humanoids from the Deep, the 1996 remake to the 1980 cult classic. It is actually not bad. The plot: in a small coastal town, a top secret government experiment has begun picking off its citizens one by one, while dragging their victims down to their watery graves. A local, Wade Parker, played by Robert Carradine, along with the help of an activist and a scientist, must stop the terrible terror. Once they begin to breed, all monstrous mayhem will ensue. Saying this as a fan of the original, this remake is awesome. For one, it takes the story from the original and does something a little bit different and neat with it. Most of the characters are the same with some changes. Robert Carradine from Attack of the Saber-Tooth and the Sharktopus vs. Terracuda, amongst other movies, is in this, and he does a pretty serviceable job. Most of the time he emits the right emotion and doesn't underplay it. There are some parts he could have put a bit more effort in, but he still did a great job. The character of Johnny Eagle is scrapped and replaced with a younger American activist. Matt is a decent character. At first, you might think he's a sleazy and shady, cowardly character, but he quickly becomes more of an ally than an enemy. Crazy Clint Walker is also in this film. His character is really subdued from his usual insanity. Here he plays one of the deputies and handles it very professionally. So what's really different from this movie compared to the original? Besides characters, some of their motivations are slightly more in tune with the reason for being involved in the story. Wade Parker's daughter is kidnapped by the humanoids, along with the Vic Morrow's character stand-in, Bill Taylor's his wife. Mouthful right there. It gives a good reason for everyone to get involved. Even the Johnny Eagle stand-in, Matt, is going out with Wade Parker's daughter, so he wants to help save her. So he has more to do with the main story than the cannery being built for Johnny Eagle's being against that in the original movie. On a side note, Billy Taylor is played by Mark Rolston, Drake from Aliens. This was a remake that came out with some others, along with Piranha 1995 and The Wasp Woman from 1997, I believe. I've seen Piranha 1995, and so far, Humanoids from the Deep 1996 is the best. I still haven't seen The Wasp Woman, so I can't really speak for that. Unlike the 1995 remake of Piranha, it uses little stock footage from the original. Sure, it sticks out a bit in some scenes, but I felt the monster suits and effects were a huge highlight. The gore, the effects, while it is not as schlocky and or vile as Humanoids from the Deep from 1980, the gore and effects are a big improvement here. Blood gushes from wounds, and heads are ripped off, faces are mangled, and gory bullet hits help to make this film have some memorable kills. As for the impregnating subplot, the abdomen explosion happens 3 times in this movie. Twice on screen, once seen in an aftermath. Compare that to the few shots and frames near the end of the first original film, and we've got a much more gruesome movie. Another thing that is a huge improvement are the effects. Not only does the gore look great, but the monster suits are updated and to look much better than the ones on the original. Don't get me wrong, I love the original Humanoids monster suits. But let's be honest, the effects here have more muscle and facial movements and can actually open their jaws wide. Plus, they can shoot a suction cup type cord. that can shoot out from their mouths and latch onto their victims. It only happens once, but it is still awesome. I mean, come on, the original Humanoids looked like they were wearing garbage bags covered in seaweed sometimes. I still love them, but yeah. The motion picture soundtrack, while not as catchy as James Horner's original movie score, this one is still serviceable. Nothing too amazing, but it gets the job done. I have the CD for this movie, it's over there somewhere, but it comes with the original and remake's score, so that's really cool. There was a scene that was supposed to envelop shock, however, the music didn't help well too much, so the scene did suffer a tad. To say I was impressed with this movie is an understatement. Roger Corman and team really upped their game and gave us a more coherent story with even better effects than the original. I'd say watch the original first, then give this one a shot. Even though it's almost just like the original, there's enough to make it work. It feels more like a movie than the original. It just flows better down into the deadly deep. Overall, I give Humanoids from the Deep, the 1996 remake of the 1980 cult classic, a 4 out of 5. I like it better than the original. Not by much, but enough. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below, leave comments, and subscribe.